Most happiness advice that I've seen is incomplete. It's not that it's wrong, but it is incomplete. And that gap, that missing piece, is exactly why people spend years trying to change how they feel and never quite get to the opportunity or the outcome that they're trying to create. The amazing neuroscientist and author James Doty spent his entire pretty illustrious career studying this and putting it into practice. I really love his story because he wasn't just a scientist and a researcher, he practiced his insights and made himself extremely successful in the process. I highly recommend his books. Dr. Doty gave us a simple equation, and I want to give you that full equation today, all three parts of it. Because most people only ever use two of the parts of the equation. And here's the framework I use. I call it mind, mouth, mood. Or you can say head, heart, body. Three variables, 3 points of leverage. And if you're missing any one of them, the whole process stalls. Mind is the quality of your thinking, obviously. It's not whether it's positive or negative. That's a little too simplified. The real question is whether your thinking is orientated towards learning or towards failure. The mind moves you forward. It doesn't necessarily need to be optimistic, but it needs to be curious. It asks, what can I understand here? Instead of, what does this say about me? And that distinction actually matters. Unfortunately, most people see life's experiences as evidence that things are broken, or they see it as a reason why they are broken. If they fail at something, for example, their thoughts go to, oh, I'm so stupid, or I can't do this. Now, mouth, the second part, is how you speak to other people, but most importantly, to yourself. Language isn't just description, it's instruction. When you speak in the language of possibility, when this works, not if this works, you are being amazingly transformational. You're setting a direction. That's a small shift in the language you use, but it has a real world effect. And ultimately, the third thing, mood is the output, the feeling state, the thing everybody wants to change. This is where the magic happens, and it's what's often sometimes called manifestation. But here's where it gets interesting. Mood is the least responsive of the three to direct intervention. It's harder to decide to be in a mood. It's difficult because of the missing part we referred to at the start of the video. You can choose your thoughts, even if it's not perfectly, but you can catch yourself in that failure story and redirect yourself towards a learning story. And that's available to you right now. You can practice this until you get it right. You can also choose your words. You can take notice of the language that you're using, whether it's in a defeat time frame or in a positive time frame. And that's also instantly available. But you cannot simply decide to feel differently. Most of us struggle to just feel happy if you're stressed or already in a bad mood. You can't always use affirmation to get yourself into a new emotional state. The mood doesn't respond to instruction the way the mind and the mouth do. And this is why so much happiness advice fails. It treats mood as an input when it's actually the output. Mood follows action. Let me say that again. Mood follows action. Most self-help advice is to create a mood of inspiration or motivation before taking the action. This well-meaning advice is exactly the opposite of how your brain and your body physiology actually work. Intention, affirmation, and motivation, those are surely important, but nothing beats the power of moving your physical body towards your goal. You must take action. Action is how the universe translates the vibrations of the thoughts and the words into the vibrations of matter. That's just pure physics. When you move your body, you change your body's chemistry. When you do the thing, the hard thing, the uncomfortable thing, the small thing you've been avoiding, your nervous system registers it, and your physiology shifts. That results in a mood change. Your mood follows. It doesn't need to be done dramatically either. Sometimes just barely enough to take the next step, but it does follow. Mary Hutchinson Murray says it beautifully. Whatever you can do or dream, you can do. Begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. Taking action turns ideas into reality, breaks the cycle of fear, procrastination, and it's the foundational key to all types of success and every aspect of personal empowerment. In my house, we've turned this whole equation into just a simple phrase that we use every day. Think it, speak it, do the work. The importance of action is why we say do the work instead of change the mood, because the second isn't available without the action. It is a practical sequence. And because the order matters, even my younger son, who's only 9 years old, he uses it daily. You start with the mind, get your thinking pointed towards curiosity, towards possibility, towards what you're learning, not what you're failing at. Then you bring the mouth in. You start speaking as if the thing is going to work, not with fake certainty, not with that weird optimism, with genuine orientation towards where you're headed. And this part cannot be skipped, you act. Before you feel ready, before the mood arrives, you invite action. You do the work first, the mood catches up afterwards. It always does. It always works. The happiness equation is simple. Mind plus mouth plus mood. Of course, simple doesn't always mean easy, and most advice just wants to focus on that easy, but it's lying to you, right? What's true is that you have more control over this than you can possibly imagine, more than you can think. Just not in the places you've been told to look, not in the affirmation that substitutes for action, not in the motivation that replaces it. The leverage is in the sequence. Thought, language, behavior, in that order every time. Think it, speak it, do the work. Hey, if this landed with you, hit subscribe. I put out a new video every week, sometimes twice a week, on how to actually make the second half of your life better than the first half. And drop a comment below if that's easy for you. I like talking about this stuff. I'm genuinely curious about it, and I read everybody's comments.